rubber tree, and it's about 30 metres in diameter. And as you can see, they've had to put all these sort of things up to hold it up. Because even over there, for example, the branch fell, like you can see. And it's kind of cool that we also have another like Buenos Aires thing, which is a dog walker. I don't know if you've noticed that there are people walking around with lots of dogs, and it supposedly actually started here in BA because people are just working all day, so you don't have time to walk your dog, so someone walks it for you. And they actually make a pretty decent living. A mate of mine is a dog walker, and he does quite well for himself. Yeah, no, definitely. They charge, I think they charge like 50 per dog per day.
Same price for the size of the dog?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know, well, at 50 per dog per day is still pretty good because they usually walk like 12 to 14 dogs, so you can make like 600-700 a day. So that's
wow, that's not bad. Yeah. Do they poop and scoop?
That's a good question. I'm not too sure.
Yeah?
They're supposed to, but I don't...
They don't always, right?
They don't always.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say they all do or they all don't because it's really hard to tell. And also, we're in Recoleta, as you can see. Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, no, I don't want to miss the explanation.
Music happening in the background.
You sure? Okay. So we're in Recoleta right now, which is one of the more upmarket, one of the wealthier areas of Buenos Aires. And remember how we were talking about the war against Paraguay just a while ago when we were over there? So what happened is when the soldiers came back from the war of Paraguay, they brought diseases with them. Diseases like yellow fever and also malaria. And what happened is that the upper classes of Buenos Aires used to live in San Telmo. When we go to San Telmo, you'll see that some of the housing is really impressive. But what happened is that when the soldiers came back with the diseases, in that area they would spread quite easily because that's a very...
So dense?
Yeah, it's very dense, and it was also very low-lying and close to the river, so there was a lot of... It was really easy for the mosquitoes to breed and everything. So diseases were terrible, like they were really spreading very fast in San Telmo. So the people with money basically came up here to Recoleta, because this hill that we just came up is one of the highest points in the city, because as you know it's a very flat city. So in fact I think the highest point in Buenos Aires as a whole is probably like a tower or a building, because there's no mountains. So yeah, it's very flat. So all the wealthy people moved up here, and as you can see it's got a very European and sort of very French influence, and the reason for that is that the Minister for Parks and, I guess you could say Parks and Recreation at the time, was indeed a French immigrant. He was called Charté. Did you just mention his name? Yeah, it's the same person who founded the Botanic Gardens, which I think you might have been to, the Botanic Gardens. And so he was an urbanist. And what happened in San Telmo, if you guys have been, is that the footpath is very narrow, so you can't really walk much, because it was built in a colonial time where people wouldn't really walk that much, they would just use their horses and that kind of thing, which is also why you have cobblestone down there. So he said that that Buenos Aires should be more pedestrian friendly. So we have now a lot more parks, and he in fact commissioned that in the parks in Argentina we would use Argentine flora and Argentine fauna. Sorry, Argentine flora mostly, not so much fauna anyway. I went there. But most of the trees that you will see, most of the plants you will see are from other provinces, but there are Argentine. And he said that the footpath should be wider and that it should be tree-lined. And if you have a look at the streets around here, they're all quite wide and tree-lined. And the idea that they had for parks is that there should be like cafes and places where people could just sit and watch life go by, and it's really quite nice. There's a lot of plazas like this where you can just have a cup of coffee and just sit there and enjoy the appreciate just people walking by and going by their daily lives, and it's really good. But Recoleta initially started off as a kind of a location in the middle of nowhere. Basically you would go from Buenos Aires proper to Belgrano, and it would take you 2 days, so you would stay overnight here in Recoleta. Obviously now it takes about 25 minutes to get from BA to Belgrano, but back then it was a couple of days. So they would stop here, and that was basically all there was. It was a horse stop and a church. And it was around the church where the cemetery developed. It was initially just for members of the clergy, for people from the church.